5 Pillars of Wisdom and Self-Mastery Lessons from Proverbs. Wisdom in the Book of Proverbs is not presented as abstract knowledge or philosophical speculation. It is practical, lived, and deeply connected to daily choices. Wisdom shapes habits, governs speech, disciplines thought, and ultimately determines the direction of a person's life. Proverbs teaches that the inner world, thoughts, attitudes, intentions, becomes the architecture of the outer life. As it is written, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding." Proverbs 9:10 KJV, wisdom begins with awareness. Awareness of limits, consequences, and the moral structure of reality. From this foundation, Proverbs unfolds a system of mental and spiritual discipline that remains remarkably relevant in the modern world. 1. Guarding the mind, the source of life's direction. Proverbs places extraordinary importance on the inner life. Thoughts are not neutral, they are directional. What occupies the mind slowly shapes behavior, habits, and destiny. Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Proverbs 4:23 KJV. The word heart in biblical language includes the mind, will, and inner intentions. Proverbs teaches that life flows outward from this inner core. When the mind is undisciplined, life becomes reactive. When the mind is guarded, life becomes intentional. This mirrors a timeless psychological truth. Repeated thoughts create mental grooves, and mental grooves become behavioral patterns. Proverbs does not separate spirituality from psychology. It unites them. As he thinketh in his heart, so is he. In Proverbs 23:7 KJV, wisdom begins when a person becomes selective about what they allow to dwell in their mind. Fears, resentments, fantasies, or disciplined thought. The wise person understands that attention is power. What you repeatedly focus on gains authority over you. 2. Discipline over desire, mastery before freedom. Modern culture often equates freedom with indulgence. Proverbs teaches the opposite. Freedom comes through self-control. Without discipline, desire becomes a tyrant. He that hath no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls. Proverbs 25:28 KJV. A city without walls is vulnerable to every invasion. In the same way, a person without inner discipline becomes vulnerable to impulse, distraction, and emotional chaos. Proverbs repeatedly emphasizes restraint, not as repression, but as protection. The prudent man foreseeth the evil, and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. Proverbs 22:3 KJV. Wisdom looks ahead. Discipline pauses before acting. It asks not only, what do I want now, but what will this create later? This principle governs habits, speech, finances, relationships, and character. True power, according to Proverbs, is not dominance over others. It is mastery over oneself. Better is he that ruleth his spirit than he that taketh a city. Proverbs 16:32 KJV. 3. Words shape reality, speech as a creative force. Proverbs treats speech as a force that builds or destroys. Words are not merely expressions of thought. They shape emotional climates, reinforce beliefs, and influence outcomes. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. Proverbs 18:21 KJV. Speech reflects inner order or inner chaos. A disciplined mind produces measured words. An undisciplined mind produces reactionary speech. Proverbs links wisdom directly to restraint in communication. He that keepeth his mouth keepeth his life, but he that openeth wide his lips shall have destruction. Proverbs 13:3 KJV. Words spoken repeatedly, about oneself, about others, about life, become self-fulfilling. Proverbs anticipates modern ideas about self-talk and cognitive framing. The wise person speaks carefully, knowing that words reinforce inner beliefs. The tongue of the wise useth knowledge aright. Proverbs 15:2 KJV. Silence too is praised as wisdom. Even a fool, when he holdeth his peace, is counted wise. Proverbs 17:28 KJV. 4. Habits and diligence, the quiet power of consistency. Proverbs emphasizes that life outcomes are not usually sudden, they are cumulative. Small actions, repeated daily, quietly shape destiny. The thoughts of the diligent tend only to plenteousness, but of everyone that is hasty only to want. Proverbs 21:5 KJV. Diligence is not frantic effort. It is steady, patient consistency. Proverbs contrasts this with impulsiveness and laziness, both of which sabotage long-term growth. A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep, so shall thy poverty come as one that travelleth. Proverbs 24:33-34 KJV. The warning here is subtle but powerful. Decline happens gradually. Likewise, growth happens gradually. Habits are invisible architects. They work quietly, shaping outcomes long before results appear. Seest thou a man diligent in his business? He shall stand before kings. Proverbs 22:29 KJV. Wisdom teaches patience with the process and faithfulness in small actions. Great outcomes are the fruit of quiet consistency. 5. Humility and teachability, the gateway to growth. Perhaps the most radical teaching in Proverbs is its emphasis on humility. Wisdom cannot coexist with pride because pride refuses correction. Pride goeth before destruction, and an haughty spirit before a fool. Proverbs 16:18 KJV. The wise person welcomes instruction, even when it is uncomfortable. Reprove a wise man, and he will love thee. Proverbs 9:8 KJV. Teachability keeps the mind flexible. Pride locks it in place. Proverbs repeatedly shows that growth belongs to those willing to learn, adjust, and admit limitation. With the lowly is wisdom. Proverbs 11:2 KJV. Humility is not weakness. It is alignment with reality. It allows wisdom to accumulate over time. Those who reject instruction repeat the same mistakes. Those who accept it evolve. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but he that hearkeneth unto counsel is wise. Proverbs 12:15 KJV. Conclusion. Wisdom as a way of life. Proverbs does not promise an effortless life. It promises a directed life. Wisdom is not about controlling outcomes, but about aligning the inner world with truth, discipline, patience, and humility. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. Proverbs 3:5 KJV. The wise life is built inwardly before it is visible outwardly. Guarded thoughts, disciplined desires, careful words, consistent habits, and humble teachability form a foundation that endures. Wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting get understanding. Proverbs 4:7 KJV. Wisdom once embraced does not merely inform the mind, it transforms the life. If you enjoyed this reflection and these ideas resonate with you, you're very welcome to subscribe for more audiobooks and contemplative content like this. If you have thoughts, questions, or would like to explore other books or themes in this space, feel free to share them in the comments. I do read them. And if this video helped you in any way, a simple like is always appreciated. Thank you for listening.